What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we are going to be going over all the cards in Bt-09. So we got X record to cover, so let's dive in this video and talk about it. So first off, let's talk about it. We have red. So the first one is going to be Koromon. This card, while you have a Digimon with Agumon or Greymon in its name, plus 1000 DP. For consistency purposes, this really does help out in some of the red decks, especially when we're going to have Agumon and Greymon support. No matter what we do, this card is just going to really blend in and just go for town there. I think this is really good for, Gaiomon, and that's about where I'm going to say it. I think it's really good with War Greymon X Antibody, but you might want to just continue with Koromon because of draw power. But sometimes you might just need to get over that threshold by just a tiny bit. So something to think about. Mini Deck Chimon. This card is just a vanilla. We're not really going to care about it. Agumon X Antibody. This card really helps synergize because now you have the when Digivolving and on play. So now both in the starter range, when you hard play it, it really does help out thin out the deck. And you now have a consistent like 3 searcher. So what's really good is revealing 3 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 X Antibody and 1 Greymon with Omnimon in its name among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck. Really does help out, go a long way. Searching is huge. Guilmon X Antibody, being able to Digivolve on top of Guilmon for free helps with stack climbing, but also the added, you may add 1000 to the maximum DP you can choose with DP effects, deduction effects. So basically anything from, Atomic Blaster, Crimson Blaze, anything like that, you're now golden. You're now leveling that up. And when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's 3000 DP. Depending on situations, this could be really good. Atama Deka Chimon. This card, nothing really caring about it. Growlmon X Antibody. Same thing as Guilmon X Antibody, but add 1000 DP to the max DP you can choose with DP deletion effects. Really solid there. Greymon X Antibody, one of the most broken inheritables. If the effect would delete this Digimon with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, or return it to the owner's hand or deck, you may prevent it from leaving play by discarding 2 cards with the same level. This card Digi-evolution effects. So it really does help out. The only thing it doesn't get around is minusing DP. I wish blue got that aspect of it to help synergize what you can do there. Another big player piece is Omnimon X Omnishout X Antibody. This card is when Digivolving, Blitz, which helps out because that deck needed a way of blitzing at level 5 and having a solid backup. And what's really nice is it's 0 cost on Omnishout, and that really does make or break a difference. While this Digimon has Omnishout or X Antibody's Digievolution, this Digimon can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. So, depending on what your stack looks like, you could definitely apply a lot of pressure. It's really cool to see him here. Omnishout is just really good all in all. Where Garurumon X Antibody, when Digivolving, you can Digivolve on Where Garurumon for free till the end of your opponent's next turn. 2 of your opponent's Digimon gains on deletion, lose 1 memory. Then, if this Digimon has War Groundmon X Antibody in its Digievolution, choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose DP total adds up to 6,000 or less, delete them. You can go up to 8,000 because of Guilmon and Growlmon underneath it for their X Antibody types. That'll bring it up to 8,000, but it can get bigger depending on your board state and what else you have going, so it can get really nasty pretty quickly. Metal Greymon X Antibody is this Digimon gains security +1 when Digivolving, and until the end of turn, if it has Metal Greymon or X Antibody in its Digievolution sources, this Digimon gets plus 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. So something to keep in the back of your mind. Just really solid all around. And then you have War Greymon X Antibody. This card is really nasty. You can Digivolve for 1 cost, but all turns when a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, gain 1 memory. So the more you check in that 1 swing, the more memory you get in return. Especially, it's like a free blitz, basically. End of turn, this Digimon has War Greymon or X Antibody's Digievolution sources. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. So the bigger he gets, the more threatening he becomes. Gallimon X Antibody. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. If you did not delete a Digimon with this effect, unsuspend this Digimon. So really good to be able to multi-attack with him, but really good about it is when your opponent's Digimon is deleted, if this Digimon has Gallimon or X Antibody in its Digivolution cards, trash the top of your opponent's security stack. Really important, really powerful, something to keep in mind. We have Dino Rexmon. Nothing really special about this card. It doesn't see competitive play, sadly. When Digivolving, for each of your opponent's tamers, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and gain 1 memory. Then all turns, once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP is suspended, you may delete that Digimon. Dino Rex doesn't see competitive play. Tai and Kari here, ridiculous. Start a turn, if you have 3 or fewer security, gain 1 memory. If your opponent has 3 or fewer security, gain 1 memory. This card punishes your opponent while you're trying to do the game. Really thing to think about. And then when your red or yellow Digimon attacks, you may suspend this tamer to give all your opponent's security Digimon minus 2,000 DP for the turn. That's going to be huge, especially being able to make it weaker so you don't have to worry about it. It helps counteract even in mirror matches and stuff like that, so that most likely your Digimon's going to die. Your opponent's Digimon's going to die. Flare Rock Soul. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon 5,000 DP or less. Then one of your Digimon may Digivolve into one Digimon card with Shoutmon in its name in your hand for its Digivolution cost. Really helps out. Flare Rock Soul is nasty. Atomic Megalo Blaster. Choose one of your opponent's Digimon whose DP adds up to 10,000 or less. Delete them. Really good. All in all, solid. And then Gaia Force Zero. When this card would be used, if you have a Digimon with X Antibody in its Digivolution, reduce the memory cost by 2. It becomes a 6 cost. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 13,000 DP or less. Then one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name may attack a player, instantly swinging in for another attack for a lovely 5 cost. Kidding, 6 cost. That is Red in a nutshell. This format, you got a lot of options this time. You have Puyoyo Mon. So this card is when an effect adds a card to your hand. This Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP for the turn. Not bad. Crabmon, just vanilla. We already know this. Gabumon X Antibody, basically your searcher counterpart for the Agumon X Antibody. It's going to search for Gurumon and an Omnimon and then add an X Antibody card, which is the option, by the way. Jellymon, this is a starter for, Jelly Force. She's just beautiful. Your turn, if you play a blue tamer, draw a card. Jellymon, when in effect, adds a card to your hand. Return your opponent's level 3 Digimon to its owner's hand. Ibedramon, just the giant lobster. Don't care about it. Kosgamamon, this card basically lets you Digivolve on the Gamamon for 2. And then your turn, if this Digimon can't be blocked, so you can just swing in, not worrying about being blocked out. So that's another reason why blockers kind of just are trash this format. Gurumon X Antibody, similar to Greymon X Antibody, but has protection in battle. So if you're swinging in and there's not a heavy security presence, you should be fine. If you're facing against Yellow Hybrid, Security Control, or Bellastar, you fucked. You are fucked. This deck just dies to that. When this Digimon has Gabumon or Omnimon in its name would be deleted by battle, you may trash 2 cards with the same level as the Digivolution card to prevent the deletion. Very powerful. Again, being able to get 2 sources, trash it, get out of here. You got another swing in. That can be really important. Tesla Jellymon. End of turn. Once per turn, you may trash 2 cards from your hand. Unsuspend this Digimon. This is why it's going to be called Jelly Force, because we're going to be using Test Jellymon and Cerberusmon. So while our hand's getting discarded, we're restanding, swinging in, and getting those multiple attacks in. Furanimon is a rush Digimon for some reason. We have Divermon, just vanilla. Then we have Weregurumon X Antibody. This card, when Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon. Then, if this Digimon has Weregurumon and an X Antibody in Digivolution, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to their hand. So, just very powerful, all in all, great skill. Sujemon. So, hand, if you have a Digimon with Justimon or RideMyAvatar in its name, you may pay 1 memory to place this card at the bottom of the Digi-Evolution card and one of those Digimon. When Digivolving, you may trash one card with Machine or Cyborg in its traits from your hand to return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to the bottom of the owner's deck. And then when attacking, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to their hand. Very powerful, all in all solid. Metal Furanimon. When attacking, you may play a Digimon with Furanimon in its name from his Digi-Illusion cards without paying its source. Memory cost, that's huge. That's basically what you're comboing here with Furanimon. And what's interesting, this will combo nicely into EX3. So just keep that in mind, that they're trying to do more source related, come out, swing, boom, 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 boom kind of style. Metal Garurumon X Antibody creates a blocker situation, which is really good. And this Digimon gains blocker until the end of opponent's next turn. So if they swing in, you can block it and not have to worry about it. And then when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, this Digimon has Metal Garurumon or X Antibodies Digi-Evolutions. Return all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level to their owner's hand. So what's really nice is if you can get X Antibody or Metal Garurumon, and they only have one swinger, get rid of it, get it out of here, don't care. That's how you play that game. Matt and Sora, really nice, because if you have 8 or more cards in your hand, gain 1 memory. If your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, gain 1 memory. This is so easy to reach, it's not even funny. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when you're just scoffing and just, I'm drawing a butt ton, it's not hard to get to that point. And then your turn, when one of your blue or red Digimon becomes suspended, you may suspend this tamer to return one of your opponent's level 3 to their owner's hand. Get those rookies out of here. We have Kishuru. This card sees really great play, actually. 1 in Jelly Force, 2 in Bellastar. So things to think about, because again, it'll let you draw cards. Because when you attack with a Digimon with Jellymon in its name, when you attack with a Digimon with Jellymon in its name or a level 5 or higher, you may, if you have 7 or less cards in your hand, suspend the tamer, draw a card, constantly helping you filter and get the key points you need to get. Bibbidi Thunder doesn't see any play, but it's really cool. Return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to its owner's hand. Then, if you have a Digimon in play with Jellymon in its name or with Jellymon in its Digi-Evolution card, return one of your opponent's tamers to their owner's hand. This card might see some play in All Force, Jelly Force, but that's about it. Metal Storm doesn't see any play whatsoever. It's a worse Kakaida's Breath. But when you use this card, if you have a Digimon with X Antibodies Evolution card, reduce the memory cost by 2. Return one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon to their owner's hand. Then unsuspend one of your Garurumons in its name. It's a little pricey. It goes to be a 5 cost, but I mean, hey. You know, Kakaida's Breath all day long, right? Let's talk about yellow in itself. We got Tokomon X Antibody. This card is when a card is added to your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP. Doesn't see any play. I have yet to see. Toy Agumon Vanilla doesn't see play. Pillowmon, opponent can't play Digimon by effects. This can definitely see play maybe in the future for if they ever get off Yellow Hybrid and they try to murder it. Let's be honest, that's probably the only way we're going to see maybe a potential yellow stacky deck. We got Salamon X Antibody. Basically, being able to Digivolve on top of Salamon really does help. Look at the top card of your security stack. You may add it to your hand. If you do, Recovery 1. This is basically giving it a Lopmon effect, which isn't terrible. Starmon's a Vanilla. Gatomon X Antibody. If you have 3 or more security cards, your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 DP. Nothing too crazy out of there. Nefertimon, Armor Purge, really good. When attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn. It gets the Digivolve on top of level 4 as itself. Sadly, they won't make it a level 5. I don't understand why not, but they wanted to make it a level 4 apparently. Most armors are level 4s, and that's probably the only reason why. Pegasusmon, Armor Purge. When Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gains minus 1 security stack. Security check. Dark Superstarmon, Vanilla, doesn't see play. Angelwoolmon X Antibody sees somewhat play. I can be honest with you, I don't see much outside of security control really doing anything with her, but that's about it. Until your opponent's next turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security minus 1. Then, if this Digimon has Angel Woolmon or X Antibody in its Digi-Evolutions, if you have 5 or fewer security, instantly recover 1 and go to 6. Really solid conditional effect. Rise Greymon X Antibody. This sees some play, actually, in Shine Greymon themed Yellow Hybrid. Anything like that, you might see a little bit of play here. When Digivolving, you may play 1 red or yellow Tamer card from your hand without paying its memory cost. Then, if this Digimon has Rise Greymon or X Antibody option, in this Digi-Evolution card, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 DP for each of your red and yellow Tamers. Very powerful, very controlly, can really punish and really get you there. Your turn, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP for each Tamer in play. Really solid. Then we have RideMyAvatar. So, your turn, you can, if you have Justimon or RideMyAvatar in its name, put this card at the bottom of this one of those Digimon's Digi-Evolution source by paying the cost of 1. So adding more power, especially with its inheritable. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn. And then when Digivolving, by trashing one card with Machine or Cyborg and its traits from your hand, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn. Not bad, not bad. Magna Dramon X Antibody. So Digivolving for 1, not terrible. When Digivolving, if you have a Digimon with Magna Dramon or X Antibody in its Digi-Evolutions, for each card in your security stack, all your opponent's Digimon and security Digimon gets minus 1,000 DP till the end of your turn. So that's really nasty. Can get really ridiculous pretty quickly. End of attack, you may add the top card of your security stack to your hand to unsuspend this Digimon. So it basically gets a multi-attack function. Not bad. We also have Magnamon X Antibody. This card, really good. I think we're going to see a lot of potential coming our way with this card, especially because of how it's going to interact. It is a good anti-meta pick, because if they're going to OTK you, redirect it to X Antibody. If you have Magnamon underneath it that are to gain a boost, you're going to have X Antibody be like, hey bro, not happening. We're not doing this here, and we're not doing this now. So basically, when your opponent's Digimon attacks, if this Digimon has X Antibody or has armor form in its traits with its Digi-Evolution, you may change the attack to this target. It is not once per turn. So if he's really beefy and they're trying to win game, they can't do anything about this thing. And then all turns, when this Digimon would be deleted, you may place the top card of this Digimon at the top of your security stack, face down, to prevent the deletion. So basically, what can happen is if they swing in, oh, he's going to die. Well, he goes to the top, pop. Hey, look, it's Magnamon X Antibody. Woo, we got there, boys. That's kind of how that's going to go. And then we got TK Izzy. So if you have a level 5 or higher Digimon, gain 1 memory. If your opponent has a level 5 or higher Digimon, gain 1 memory. This card is seen in Yellow Hybrid, green-based themes with Golden Rappa. But outside of that, doesn't see much play really crazily. One of your yellow or green Digimon Digi-Evolutions, you may suspend this Tamer to have one of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1,000 DP for the turn until your end of your opponent's next turn. Really good, very powerful. The Awaken of the Golden Digizoid. This is basically says, screw minusing DP, which is basically Armor's worst nightmare. Apparently they just wanted to have another Achilles heel. But this basically makes it so you can warp into any of your armors into the Magnamon X Antibody. Sunrise Burst, probably the most broken option in history. Sunrise Burst basically makes it so you play a red or yellow Tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. On plays Activate, so you're going to be able to plus on top of that. And then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for each red and yellow Tamer you have in play. God, why do they let this through? I don't know. But this scales long game, and this gets ridiculous even next format. This is going to be really nasty to deal with in BT10. Just keep that in mind. Minomon, nothing too crazy here. If this Digimon has Insectoids in its trait, it gets plus 1,000 DP. Recommend don't play this card unless you're really into... I think it'll see better play once they have more good insect decks. But outside of that, this format is just bad. Electromon's Vanilla. Kokuwamon. X Antibody. Not a bad card on play. When Digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with Insectoid or Machine in its traits, and 1 X antibody among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. Really good, really powerful, especially in a deck that we want to find our grandest Quaggas and stuff like that. So just something to keep in mind. Pumamon, players can't play Digimon by effects. Really good. This helps against any spammy decks that just like to flood the board for free. Shuts down Diaboromon, shuts down Deathexmon, anything that's really annoying there. Ninjamon's Vanilla, Quagamon X Antibody. When this Digimon has Insectoid in his traits, this Digimon gains Piercing. Nothing too crazy out of the ordinary here. Doesn't actually see play. You could tech it, but nothing worth it. I don't think. Leomon X Antibody doesn't see play. The deck doesn't even exist. When this Digimon would be deleted in battle, you may play 1 Leomon from its Digi-Evolution cards without paying its memory cost. Not bad to be able to cycle into your other ones. Not bad at all. Pangeamon X Antibody. I really don't see this. This card and Digimon in its name is also treated at including Leomon. When this Digimon would be deleted in a battle, you may place Leomon from this Digi-Evolution without paying its memory cost. So, I mean, that's not bad. It cycles through on a death. You get a free Leomon out of it. A Quagamon X Antibody, basically stacking up, getting that Digiburst skill from Grand Quagamon. Just something to keep in mind. When Digivolving, if this Digimon has Quagamon or X Antibodies Evolution, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then, if this Digimon is attacking, may switch the target of that attack to one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. When this Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon card with Insectoids in the trait, reduce the cost by 1. Really good, very powerful. Not even kidding. Zemeliumon, no play at all. Fujinmon, so main, if you have a Digimon with Jestimon or Raiden, it's going to be doing the same as the other 2 we've already talked about. Gets to play it for 1, put it in its sources. And then when Digivolving, you may trash 1 card with Machine or sideboard in its traits from your hand. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. And then when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with DP of 5,000 or less. Then that Digimon cannot unsuspend during your opponent's next undefended phase. Really powerful, all-around great card. Grandis, Green's newest baby, new boss Digimon right here, right now. So something to keep in mind. You know, Grandis is something to suspend your opponent's Digimon. Then if this Digimon is attacking, you may switch the target of that attack to one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. This Digimon gets plus 4,000 DP. And an attack, if this Digimon has Grand Quagamon or X Antibody into Evolution, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon. So basically, you do as much as possible. They don't have a Digimon. It's not the requirement to unsuspend him. So he's just nasty as hell. Dino Tigermon, Cyber Leomon. Let's be honest, you're not playing this deck. This card is straight doo-doo trash. Get rid of it. If this Digimon has a card with Leomon in its name or X Antibodies to Evolution, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamer. And then once returned, when an opponent's Digimon or Tamer becomes suspended, you may unsuspend this Digimon. Not terrible. Could have been better. Mimi and Joe. If you have a suspended Digimon, gain 1 memory. If your opponent has a suspended Digimon, gain 1 memory. So this adds in and goes up more. And when your green or blue Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, you may suspend this Tamer, draw a card. So really good, more advantage. Grandest Scissors. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and then unsuspend one of your Insectoids. In its traits, that Digimon may attack your opponent's Digimon. Instantly getting another attack in. Really powerful. Ground Fang. This card is played in green-yellow security control. Well, aka hybrid. So we're just going to be talking about this. Return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon and one of your opponent's suspended Tamers to the bottom of their owner's deck. Getting it out of here, getting it too far away from your opponent, and you choose the order of how that goes to the bottom. Remember, you paid the effect, you get to decide. So just keep that in mind. And then we have Goromon. While this Digimon has blocker, it gains 1,000 DP. Bearmon's just Bearmon, vanilla. Doromon, on play, trash 1 card with X Antibody and traits in your hand, draw 2. Not bad at all. We get some draw advantage. We love it. Tapirmon. If this Digimon has 2 or more colors, it gets plus 1,000 DP. Sees a little play in Gaiomon / Wargreymon. Got Grizzlymon, complete vanilla. Monochromon. Toss this in the trash. Why does this exist? I mean, we didn't need another blocker. It's 6,000 DP for a 2 cost, and when attacking, lose 3 memory. Get it out of here. Raptor Dramon. This Digimon has Alphamon in its name. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 5 or less. Some possible play, but mostly it's tossed aside because there's just better stuff to play. Loader Leomon. Liomon. Nothing too crazy here. Vanilla. We have Grademon. Let's talk about it. When Digivolving, reveal 3 cards from your deck. Add 1 card with Alphamon and his traits in among them to your hand. Place the remaining card and place 1 card with the X antibody in his traits among them under this Digimon as the bottom Digievolution source. Trash the remaining cards. Not bad. It gets you more stacks in. Mega Dramon helps you control that tamer little BS they want to play. So being when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon or tamer with a play cost 3 or less. Gets rid of those nasty everything around that everybody likes to play now. Oh, this gains me extra memory. This gains me extra memory. This gains me extra 1 memory. Get rid of it. Get it out of here. Get it. Tommy, get the hell out of here. Mega Dramon, when attacking, when this card has Machine or Dragonkin in its traits, delete one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamer with a play cost 3 or less. This helps you in ways that you didn't really have before with your red-black stuff, so something to keep in mind. We have Alphamon. When Digivolving, place 1 card with X antibody and traits from its trash to the bottom of this Digievolution cards. Then your turn, when this Digimon Digivolve cards increase by effect, de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, making it easier to get rid of threats and annoyances. Gaiomon, basically this card has 20 words on it, then it's just going to have it all. Basically, this is treated as Greymon in its name, so you get all the added benefits of being Greymon, but it also has security and reboot +1. And then when Digivolving, if this Digimon has a black Digievolution card, one of your opponent's Digimon gets de-Digivolved. And then if you have a red Digievolution card, Blitz. If you have both, you get to activate both. And it gets really nasty pretty quickly. You don't have really any piercing, but that's fine. Getting rid of threats is important. Bahomon. So this card, one of the Sovereigns. Last Sovereign we actually needed. When Digivolving, suspend up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon and or Tamers. Then for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon and Tamer, gain 1 memory. So he can get them basically free very easily. And then end a turn, for every 2 of your opponent's suspended Digimon and or Tamer, trash the top card of their security stack. Punishes really quickly. Gets really nasty. Daigo. When an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended in the main phase, you may suspend this Tamer. Gain 1 memory. And then your turn, when one of your Digimon Digivolves into a black level 6, it gains blocker until the end of the opponent's next turn. Very solid, actually, techable card. Micah. This card is okay. I've seen it see a little bit of play. Reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 Tapir or 1 2-color card with black among them to your hand, returning the remaining cards to the bottom of the deck. It's just a searcher. But your turn, when your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon that has 2 or more colors, including black, you may suspend this Tamer, reduce the memory cost by 1. Some people actually play it in Gaiomon. It's a nice, simple tech. Yes, it's another option, but hey, that's just life, right? I mean, you're going to be Digivolving that way. And then you have Heavy Machine Advance. This card is basically screams Machine Dramon. Put me in Machine Dramon now. So you may trash 1 card with Cyborg Machine in traits from your hand to have all your level 6 Digimon with Machine gain Rush. And on play, if this Digimon has Digievolution cards, Blitz for the turn. Machine Dramon needed this forever. This card is a really solid blanketing effect, and being able to rush and blitz is nasty. And then security may trash 1 card with Cyborg or Machine in its traits from your hand. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with play cost less than or equal to the trash card. So if they hit it in security, they're going to regret it. Kongu. This card is ridiculous. This says, screw your recovery, screw anything you want to do with a play cost 7 or less. If you got hybrids, ain't touching me, ain't doing shit. So basically shuts down your opponent, gaining memory security back. It's very solid. Kongu is just nasty as can be. X Evolution sees I think maybe in the beginning they used it, but they haven't used it since. If you have a Digimon with X antibody and traits, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. Reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. 1 of your Digimon may Digivolve into a card with X antibodies and traits among them without paying its memory cost. Trash the remaining cards. Then place 1 card with X antibody and traits from your trash under one of your Digimon with X antibody in its traits as a bottom Digievolution card. Security, for 3 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 X antibody card in its traits among them to your hand. Nothing bad there. And then we do have Digilation Soul. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost less than or equal to the play cost of one of your Digimon with X antibody and traits among them. Trash the revealed cards, then place 1 X antibody and traits underneath a Digimon. It doesn't see really any play at all, actually, let's be honest. And then, where's my big boy? Excuse me, you need to come here. He is the final black card of the set, and that is our none other than Oryuken mode. So, when Digivolving, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. Really solid. Ties, delete everything. You may return up to 7 non-Digi-Egg cards with X antibodies and its traits from this Digivolution to the bottom of their owner's deck in any order. Gain 1 memory for each return this way, but it Digivolves for 3 on top of the Alphamon with Oryumon in its Digivolution sources. That's crazy. Basically, he becomes really cheap, and he's really much of a problem threat to deal with. Let's talk about purple in itself. We have... Excuse me. Erg. This upsets me a little bit. We're going to talk about Pagumon first. Because apparently it did not want to do this correctly. So we got Pagu. By trashing 1 card from your hand, this Digimon gets 1000 DP for the turn. Then we have Gazimon X Antibody. When Digivolving, trash 3 cards from the top of your deck. Not bad. And it Digivolves on top of Gaze. In purple, this card sees play in Bellastar. So just keep that in mind. Dracmons for the Undead deck. It's not really super competitive, but it exists, so you can use it. Dracmon on play, reveal 3 cards from the top of the deck. Add 1 Undead or Dark Animal in its traits to your hand. Trash the remaining cards. Trash 1 card with Undead or Dark Animal in its traits. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. Digimon may Digivolve into 1 Digimon with Undead or Dark Animal in its traits from your trash by paying its memory cost when attacking, by the way. Really solid. Can really trigger a lot of fun stuff. Salamon, revealing the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 2-color purple card among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck. Basically, Vmon for purple or 2-color purples of any sort. Very powerful. I can see her see many plays in the future. Sunlopamon, basically, you may Digivolve this Digimon into one of your... Same effect as Dracmon. Sunlopamon. With Digimon with Undead and Dark Animal and traits from your trash, for which Digivolutions cost. Not bad. Dexaduragramon. Basically, this is played in Alphamon and in the deck in itself, but mostly this is seen more in the Alphamon line. When Digivolving, you may trash 1 card with Dex in its name or X antibody and traits in your hand. Gain 1 memory. When Digivolving, if this Digimon has Darugumon in its Digievolution cards, or Digievolution from trash, one of your Digimon gains blocker and retaliation until the end of opponent's next turn. Really solid. Then we have Mekumon. This card is security at the end of battle. You may play this without paying its memory cost. Really solid to get a surprise Digimon out, but also has a really solid on deletion. If this Digimon has 2 or more colors, gain 2 memory. Really good. We got Matadurmon. Matadurmon. This card is when attacking, you may trash 1 card with Undead or Dark Animal as traits in your hand to have this Digimon get plus 3000 DP. Really helps out, get those extra swings in and extra pokes. And then your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon card from your trash, reduce the de-evolution cost by 1. So basically, while you have the inheritables, climb up, get it for reduced cost. Dexaduragramon, when Digivolving, you may trash 1 card with Dexmon in its name or X antibody and traits from your hand, gain 1 memory. So basically, can mitigate the Durogramon evolution for 1 cost, becomes free. When Digivolving, if you have a Digimon with Durogramon in its Digievolution card, when Digivolving from trash, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lowers. Really solid, very powerful. May Crackmon Vicious Mode. So, you may trash 1 card in your hand. If you have a purple card is trashed this way, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. If you have a yellow card in its trash this way, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP. So if you toss a purple-yellow, get both effects. And then on deletion, if you have 2 or more colors, gain 2 memory. So this kind of starts climbing up and be really ridiculous once you get into Digimon. Grand Drachmon. When Digivolving, you may play a level 3 purple Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost, and at the attack, you may Digivolve one of your other Digimon into a Digimon card with Undead or Dark Animal in its traits without paying its memory cost. Really solid, very powerful. And then Dexaduragreymon. When Digivolving, if you have Duragreymon in its Digi-Evolution cards, and when Digivolving from trash, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. Really nice board wiper in itself. On deletion, you may play a level 3 purple or black Digimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. If you have 5 or more Dex in the name, though, straight up play Death Examon. Really nasty, really powerful. Rangulmon. This card, we know what had happened. Just murdered everybody. On play 1 purple or yellow Digimon with 6,000 DP or less from trash without paying its memory cost. If you have security stack, has 1 or fewer cards, you may play a level 6 or lower Digimon with Angel or Fallen Angel in its traits from trash without paying its memory cost instead. And in turn, if you DNA Digivolve, you may DNA Digivolve this Digimon, one of your other Digimon in play, to a Digimon in your hand by paying its cost. The goal is to get into Digimon. So, what's really nasty is when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's level 6 or higher Digimon and all their level 5 or lower. For each Digimon deleted in this effect, recovery 1. Did you know that we had if you play it if you only have 1 security, you get a free level 6? Well, this is what you're doing. You're gaining it all back after they applied so much pressure. Digimon is just nasty. On deletion, you may trash the top security stack to play this card without paying its memory cost. So if you got Meikumon, Makrakmon, Vicious mode, basically underneath it, basically you're gaining 2, 4 free memory. That's huge. Just keep this in mind, boys and girls. It just gets nastier from here. Dexmon is the big bad secret of the set, and I can tell you this, you're gonna love it. When you would play this card, reduce the play cost for 3 for each of your opponent's Digimon and Tamer. So if they got 3 Tamers out and 3 Digimon, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, so that's minus 18, and that gets ridiculous. So just something to keep in mind. On play, when Digivolving, delete all your opponent's Digimon, gets Digivolved by 1, and then delete all your opponent's Digimon level 4 or lower Digimon. So bye-bye, clear the board. And then end of opponent's turn, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Digimon, we already talked about her. Dexolution, this card is basically free. If you have a Digimon with X antibody and its traits in play, you may use this card without meeting its requirement. One of your Digimon can Digivolve into a Digimon from trash with Dex in its name by paying its memory cost. Really nasty, really powerful. I have Gorgon. Delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. If the Digimon is deleted this way, you may play a purple level 3 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. That Digimon cannot activate on play effects. I hate that. You paying 8. Just get it for free. Metal Impulse. Trash 3 cards from your trash up to 3 cards from your hand. For each card trashed with this effect, you Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. And one of your opponent's Digimon, then delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Gets rid of threats very easily. Mako. On play, reveal 3 cards from your deck, add 1 purple or 1 yellow Digimon card among them to your hand, trash the remaining cards, fills your graveyard. But, all turns, when you play a 2-color purple or yellow Digimon, you may suspend this tamer and gain 1 memory. This is to help alleviate Rangulmon's effect of the on-play. So just something to think about. And then yellow cards of the set, we have Omnimon Merciful Mode. 3 Digi-Evolution 3 if it contains Omnimon. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon for each card with Mega in its traits in its Digi-Evolution cards. Then return 10 cards in your opponent's trash to the bottom of their deck in any order. And then start a turn, trash the top card of this Digimon. If you did, trash the top card of your security of your opponent's Digimon. Security stack. Really powerful, just basically you get him for a turn, and then you just trash this card. Trash the top card of the Digimon, and basically you get a free attack and not have to worry about it, and you still have your boss Digimon behind it. X Antibody is going to be the most coveted card, and I'm going to be honest with you, expect this thing to be like $30 with a pre-release stamp on it. I'm kidding you not. This card is going to be expensive. Usually it's played at 2 to 3, but everybody's going to be after it because it's going to be the highest rarity until they make a alternate art, which I'm still surprised they haven't. So, security, gain 1 memory, add this card to your hand, place this card at the bottom of Digi-Evolution of one of your opponent's Digimon with X antibodies Digi-Evolution cards. Not bad. And then all turns, this card cannot be trashed from this Digimon Digi-Evolution card by card effects. Basically, can't just strip it away. And when attacking, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a Digimon in your hand with X antibody and traits by paying its Digi-Evolution cost. Not bad. X programming. If you have a Digimon with Dexmon in its name, you may use this option without meeting its color requirements. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon without X antibody and its traits. If both players have 3 or more Digimon in play in total, delete all Digimon without X antibodies and a trait instead. Really powerful. And then we got upgraded analog youth, or we got cool boy here. This guy is going to reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 card with X antibody and trait and 1 option with X antibody and its traits to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom deck in any order. And then when one of your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon in the same level as the X antibody and its traits, you may suspend the tamer, gain 1 memory, and draw a card. Very powerful. All in all, great cards this set. What is your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Remember, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!